So she saw a shadow approaching her, and all of a sudden he just started like wailing on her. She's significantly injured in her face and got a big gash on her arm. She's 91 years old. So she says that the guy sounded Hispanic and he was telling her to be still and penetrated her with his fingers. And she said that he felt like he was not erect.
Imagine a 14-year-old, someone you think is innocent, someone you thought was harmless, someone you are old enough to be his mom's grandmother, committed an unthinkable crime to you. This is the true story of how a young boy attacked and assaulted 91-year-old woman in her own home. Stay with us as we uncover the shocking events that stunned a small town in Florida and left everyone questioning how this could happen. Welcome to True Crime Anatomy. Thank you to my amazing subscribers for your continued support. Wherever you are, I hope your family stays safe. If you're new, please subscribe, like, and share. This channel brings you the most shocking and unheard true crime stories, working every day to bring you cases you've never seen before. Subscribe and comment "I subscribed" below to be part of the family, and I'll respond personally. Now, let's get into today's case. In the early hours of June 9, 2024, in the quiet town of Reddick, Florida, 14-year-old Jesse Stone committed a crime that no one saw coming. He entered the home of a 91-year-old woman he knew, someone he had been trusted by. What followed was a brutal attack that left the community in shock. Jesse admitted to beating and sexually assaulting her in her own bed. A young boy, someone seen as innocent by his neighbors, committing such a violent crime against an elderly woman. How could this happen? What led to such a horrific act? By the end of this documentary, we'll explore the events that led to this attack and reveal how investigators worked tirelessly to bring Jesse Stone to justice.
I said, do you want to be the Randy John that tells the truth, the Randy John that cares about me? Because I know you are.
Detectives press a 14-year-old boy for the truth in front of his grandmother as they question him about whether he sexually assaulted
Let's take a step back and understand the people involved in this shocking case. At the heart of this story is a 91-year-old woman who had lived in Reddick, Florida for many years. Reddick is a small town with only about 500 people. Everyone knew everyone else, and it was a place where neighbors often became like family. This elderly woman, who we will refer to as the victim, had long been a part of this close-knit community. She was known for her kindness and for always looking out for others. She had a reputation as someone who welcomed people into her life and treated everyone with warmth and respect. The victim had even known Jesse Stone, the 14-year-old boy who would go on to commit such a brutal act. Over the years, they had crossed paths several times, and she had seen him grow up. Jesse Stone wasn't a stranger to her. In fact, she considered him a good boy. They had shared small conversations, and she trusted him to some degree, just like the many others in Reddick who thought of him as an innocent child. She never could have imagined that the very boy she had known, who was raised in the same small town, would one day do something so horrific. Jesse Stone had always been known as a quiet, seemingly respectful kid. Growing up in a small town like Reddick, it was easy to think of everyone as safe. His family was known to the community, and they weren't seen as outcasts or troublemakers. Jesse had spent most of his life in this town, and to many, he was just another young person trying to find his way. His reputation was one of a typical teenager, someone who stayed out of trouble and was polite to his elders. It's what everyone expected from him. But behind that image, there was more to Jesse than anyone knew. He had grown up in a home where things weren't always as perfect as they seemed on the surface. While he didn't have a criminal record or any major issues that would have raised red flags, there were subtle signs that something was wrong. His family dynamics, while not widely discussed, suggested there were challenges behind closed doors. It's unclear exactly what he was dealing with at home, but as we will see, those private struggles seem to have played a role in what happened that night. It was a quiet night in Reddick, Florida, as 91-year-old victim settled into her bed. But that night, something was about to shatter the peace of her home. Jesse Stone, just 14 years old, had snuck into her house. He didn't force his way in. He simply walked in through the living room door. Once inside, he took the victim's iPad and began watching pornography. For a while, he stayed in the quiet of her house, unaware that the woman was still sleeping upstairs, blissfully unaware of the danger creeping closer. It was around midnight when victim's name woke up to an unexpected feeling. She opened her eyes to find Jesse standing over her, in her room. Panic set in as she realized something was wrong. She tried to push him away, but it was too late. Jesse struck her in the face, with force. She fought back, trying to scream, trying to move, but Jesse continued to overpower her. He hit her repeatedly, and in those moments, the victim knew her only hope was to survive. As the attack continued, she prayed. "Dear God, please help me," she whispered, though Jesse only responded with harsh words, telling her to be quiet. The physical pain was unbearable, but there was something even more tormenting: the betrayal. This was not a stranger. It was someone she knew, someone she had trusted. She never expected this from Jesse Stone. After the attack, Jesse fled the scene, and the victim, bruised and broken, was left to call for help. With trembling hands, she dialed 911, the shock of the ordeal still sinking in. The line was clear: she needed help, and fast. The attack was over, but the nightmare was just beginning. The victim, shaken and injured, managed to call 911. Her voice trembled as she described the horrifying events. She told the dispatcher about the boy who attacked her, the pain, and the terror she felt. That call was the first crucial step in the investigation. When law enforcement arrived at the scene, they immediately began piecing together what had happened. Marion County detectives started their work, focusing on every detail, no matter how small. The house was searched, evidence collected, and a clear picture began to form.
Did you see anybody run through here or anything?
Not to my yard, but then again, I went in the house at 9:30 to eat dinner.
Okay.
And came back out with my son and said he saw all the cars come up here.
Okay.
And I was sitting there for a minute. And
Your son live here too?
Huh?
Your son live here too?
Yeah, my son lives here. My daughter and son-in-law are down here from West Virginia on vacation.
All right.
Later that day, deputies talked to more neighbors.
I was out in the back working in my shop. I guess when all this was going down, I never heard nobody yell or anything. That's what was weird.
During the night?
Yeah, I didn't come in till 9:30. Came back outside, and then my son said all these lights going up the road. That's when I came back out and talked to you.
Did the deputies talk to you last night?
Well, I gave them my name and stuff. Yeah, they just said, "Did you see anything?" I said, "No, I didn't see nothing." And they can't come through my yard because them two are out.
Sure.
But there were still many questions left unanswered. One of the biggest challenges in this case was identifying the attacker. The victim's description was limited, and there were few clues to go on. At first, the investigation seemed to hit a wall. Then, forensic experts found something that would change everything: DNA evidence. The Marion County Sheriff's Office, with its advanced in-house forensic capabilities, processed the evidence quickly. Within a short time, they had a match: Jesse Stone. The DNA at the crime scene led them directly to him. It was a breakthrough, but it raised new questions. How could a 14-year-old, someone so young, be capable of such an attack? There were still challenges to overcome. Detectives had to deal with false leads, confusion in the early stages of the case, and a lack of direct evidence. Everything had to be carefully analyzed, every step of the investigation scrutinized. It was clear this case would not be solved quickly, and the investigation continued at a painstaking pace. If you were a detective on this case, knowing the age of the attacker, how would you feel? How would you react to the fact that a 14-year-old was capable of something so violent and cruel? Many began to wonder, what could have driven a 14-year-old boy to commit such a violent crime? Theories started to emerge, but no one could fully explain the extent of what Jesse Stone had done. One possibility that experts considered was the impact of online pornography. Jesse had accessed adult content on the victim's iPad before the attack. Could this have been a contributing factor? Some criminologists suggest that exposure to violent pornography could influence the behavior of young individuals, especially when combined with other stressors. Another angle explored was Jesse's home life. Investigators looked into his family background, searching for clues that might explain his actions. While there was no immediate evidence of abuse or severe neglect, Family dynamics can sometimes play a role in how children develop emotionally and socially. Were there any signs of deeper issues that went unnoticed? Some experts questioned whether this attack was a random act of violence or if there had been warning signs earlier. Was Jesse's behavior simply an outburst, or was it the result of unresolved anger and frustration? Had he shown signs of violent tendencies before that had been dismissed or ignored?
So like laundry or whatever. Okay.
No, I've helped with the laundry machine, but not to do laundry.
Not like you've never done her laundry for her or bed sheets or anything like that?
No.
You've never like taken a nap or slept in any of her bedrooms or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Do you remember if you've ever been in any of those bedrooms?
No.
No?
No. I've never been in any room other than the living room, kitchen, the bathroom.
Okay. Well, Randy Dunn, I think you probably know that I wouldn't ask that question unless I had a reason to.
Okay.
So, I'm just going to be honest with you because, I feel like you've been mostly honest with me. And I know your mom's been honest with me. Is it okay if I call you his mom? Yeah. Brody? Okay, I don't mean to. It's okay, yeah. But when I came over to you on, I think that was Sunday, and I was asking you about your clothes and the video and such, and I explained that I wanted to get your DNA because I knew that you had been over there before. Could you mention, like you told us today, that you had...
But the question remains, does Jesse's age change how we view his crime? Is a 14-year-old old enough to fully understand the consequences of their actions? And if not, should that influence the way the justice system treats him? As the investigation progressed, the community of Reddick was left in shock, trying to make sense of what had happened. Then Jesse Stone made a surprising move. After initially pleading not guilty to the charges, he changed his plea to guilty. This decision came after weeks of legal proceedings, where the evidence against him was overwhelming. Jesse admitted to the crime, acknowledging the brutal attack he had committed against the 91-year-old woman. The legal consequences were severe, though the question of his age still lingered over the case. Jesse's sentencing was scheduled for December 19th. As a 14-year-old, many debated whether he should be tried as an adult or given a sentence more appropriate for someone his age. The law offers a gray area in cases like this, and many wondered how the court would balance justice with the fact that Jesse was still a child. Would he face a harsh penalty or receive a chance at rehabilitation? The impact of the crime spread far beyond the victim's home. Their focus now turned to healing, while the community grappled with the emotional aftermath of the crime. Do you think Jesse Stone should be tried as an adult for his actions? Or should the system focus on rehabilitation? Is a 14-year-old fully responsible for such a brutal act, or is there room for understanding and change? As we look back on this case, the question remains, what does justice look like when it comes to young offenders? Jesse Stone, a 14-year-old boy, committed a crime that shocked his community and the nation. The legal process will now determine what kind of punishment he will face. But there's no clear answer to whether the system is doing enough for young people who commit violent acts. Should the justice system prioritize punishment, or should it focus more on rehabilitation for juveniles? This case also highlights the emotional toll on everyone involved. The victim, a 91-year-old woman who trusted Jesse, will never be the same. The attack has left deep physical and emotional scars that will linger for the rest of her life. For her family, the pain is difficult to put into words. They are left to rebuild after this traumatic event. On the other side, Jesse's family is also affected. No parent wants to believe their child is capable of such violence. They now face the reality of a broken future for their son, and the community, once a safe haven, is left with questions. How could a town like Reddick, a place known for its close-knit relationships, be shattered by an act like this? This case raises so many difficult questions. Does the justice system fail when it comes to young offenders? Can we truly believe in rehabilitation for someone so young, or do we need to impose harsher sentences to prevent future crimes? We want to hear from you. Do you think Jesse Stone should be treated like an adult or given the chance to reform? Should we focus on rehabilitation, or is a harsher punishment necessary in cases like this? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. If this case intrigued you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into real-life mysteries. We bring you the stories that leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. Next time, we'll uncover another mind-bending case that will make you think twice about the world around you. You won't want to miss it.